guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Do you know that 70% of resume do not get past the applicant tracking system of most companies? Yes. So over the weekend, I was actually talking to my recruiter friend when she told me how 70% of applicants' resume, especially in the tech industry, do not get past their applicant tracking system. Now, if you don't know, what is applicant tracking system? ATS for short. Now, what is ATS? ATS is an artificial intelligence software used by recruiters to actually filter out resume that do not actually match with what exactly they are looking for. So what ATS does is it filters resume based on keywords. It scans resume for formatting and structure. It automatically rejects resume that do not meet the stated criteria and automatically organizes candidates through different stages of hiring process. So one thing you need to understand about ATS is presently 95% of Fortune 500 companies make use of ATS to actually screen out candidates automatically. Because you know that when a company actually posts a job, over 1,000 candidates, 500 candidates, 1,000 candidates apply to that specific job. So the recruiter is a human being. There is no way a recruiter will keep scanning through each resume one after the other. So this is where the ATS comes in. So the applicant tracking system helps the recruiter to actually screen out candidates automatically. So when I tell you that 70% of your resume do not get past the ATS software, I mean it. So this is why I'm here making this video for you. About 2 weeks ago, I actually helped a company to recruit for the role of a junior data analyst, and I got this very tacky resume. And when I say this resume is tacky, I got this tacky resume submitted by one of the applicants. So immediately I saw the resume, I was like, wow. What is going on? Are people still doing this kind of resume in this modern age? So I decided that I'm going to make a video where I'm going to be showing you step by step how to design a modern ATS friendly resume as a data scientist or a data analyst. So in this project, we are going to be working with three major things. One, we are going to be working with the tacky resume that was submitted by one of the applicants that actually applied for a role of a junior data analyst. Two, we are going to be working with Canva, where we are going to be designing the resume. So even if this is your first time of using Canva, you don't have to worry. I made this tutorial as beginner friendly as possible, where I will first be explaining the interface of Canva. So even if this is your first time of using Canva, you don't have to worry. I got you. Thirdly, we are going to be making use of ChatGPT. Yes, we are going to be making use of ChatGPT. So if you're looking at learning how to design your resume using Canva and ChatGPT, then this video is for you. Also, if you're looking at making your resume ATS friendly as possible, like this resume we are going to be designing has an ATS score of 92%. Yes. So if you're looking at making your resume as ATS friendly as possible and as modern as possible, then this tutorial is for you. And again, my name is Precious. I'm a data scientist and a data analyst, and I'm here to actually share insightful content on data analysis, data science, finance, and tech generally. So don't forget to subscribe to my channel, share the video, comment. Thank you for helping me grow. Okay, now, so this is the resume we are going to be updating. Okay, so when I say someone actually sent me this resume, I actually helped the company to post a job for the position of a junior data analyst, and someone actually sent me this resume, right? So for the sake of privacy, I've actually blurred out some of his personal information. So this is the resume we are going to be working with. Okay, now let's go ahead and just see what it looks like, right? Now, when you take a look at this resume, you will see that a lot of things are actually very wrong about this resume. Okay. Now, this is his personal information, and this is his education. As you can see here, we have his career objective. Then, as you can see here, we have his work experience. Then, as you can see here, we have his references. Okay. So we are going to be hopping on this resume, and we are going to be looking at how we can actually update this resume using Canva. So like I mentioned in the introduction of this video, we are going to be creating this using Canva. Okay. So even if you are not a Canva guru, you don't have to worry, because this tutorial is as beginner friendly as possible. Right. Now the next first thing we have to do is we go over here right? Now, firstly, this is the Canva interface, okay? So this is the Canva interface. So I would have actually gone up to actually show you a couple of things, but I have some private documents I wouldn't want to share with the public up there. So let's just concentrate here. Now this is your home page, of course. So your home page is actually where you see all your designs, all the designs you have created. Now these are your projects. Now when you click on this project, you will see several projects, all the projects you have actually created. Okay. Now this is templates. Okay. So this is where you can actually see templates. Okay. You can actually see different templates and work with different templates. Okay. Now as you can see here, we have templates for invoice. So we have different templates. Okay. So once you just decide on what you're designing, okay, Canva automatically recommends templates to you. Okay. But one thing is that most of the usable templates or most of the premium templates, you need to actually have a Canva Pro account to be able to access it. That means a Canva Premium account to be able to access them. So this is actually a Canva Premium account. So I'm actually able to access any templates or any elements that I want to work with. All right. Now, this is under this template, you actually have your photos. Okay. So one thing you need to understand is that Canva is an online software. That means it works with your internet. As you can see now from here, now you can actually notice that my internet is a bit slow. Okay. Now this is where you can actually access several photos. Okay. So you can click here to actually search for any photos you want to access. Now let's say we want to see a man standing. Okay. Now let's go ahead and run this. So as you can see, it gives you different photos of a man standing. Okay, so that's just what it is all about. So this is where you actually see graphics, basically design elements, icons, okay, illustrations and everything. So this is where you actually see them. Okay. Now this is where like this is a premium function. Like I mentioned that this is a premium account brand. This is actually where you put information about your brand. Maybe you want to put your color code, your fonts and everything. This is where you actually make use of it. Okay. Now Canva AI, this is actually where you make use of several AI softwares and tools. Okay. So this is where you actually make use of them. So you can actually decide that okay, create image for me, design for me, draft a doc, code for me, create video clip. Okay. So what you just have to do is come here and write whatever you want to create. Okay. Now let's say we want to say an area green land, okay, let's say large, sorry, I want to say large land space. Okay, let's go ahead and run this and see what happens. So as you can see, okay, so as you can see, it's actually giving us according to the prompts. Okay, so this is the land space we asked for. So this is the green large land space is asked for. So that's basically what the space is all about. If you want to work with AI, okay. So of course this is your apps. Okay, let's click and see what that is about. So mostly I don't really go there. So this is your apps. Okay, so I don't really use that, so I don't really know what that is for. So let me just move ahead to my home. Okay. Now, when you want to create a new design, okay, what you have to do is you go here and click on create. Okay. Here you can actually invite people. Maybe you want to invite your friend to share your premium account. This is where you do that. Now let's go to create. Okay. Now, when you click on create, you can see that okay, it has actually brought up these are different type of resumes. Okay, so Canva has templates for resume, but most times I don't actually recommend using the most templates we actually have on Canva for resume. That's because most of their templates is not ATS friendly. Like most companies nowadays work with artificial intelligence to actually filter out resume that do not actually align with the standard resume formatting. So most of the Canva templates are not ATS friendly. They're not ATS friendly. So like this one, we have the images, we have all the designs all over here. So it's actually more of a design than a usable resume. So I don't recommend using most of Canva resume templates. Okay. Now, what we'll have to do is we actually have to go ahead and decide what we want to create. As you can see, we have YouTube channel thumbnail. we have video, we have presentation, but we are actually looking for A4. Okay, so okay, this is resume A4. Okay, as you can see it here. So what we have to do is we go ahead and click this. Okay, so as you can see now, it has actually opened up a resume A4, an A4, okay, which we can use to redesign our resume. Now, like I said, this is a resume we are redesigning. So we are going to be taking it step by step from the personal information to the education to the work experience and to the references. Okay. Now let's go ahead and to actually enlarge this particular visual, all you have to do is Control Plus. Okay, so once you press Control Plus, it actually goes ahead to enlarge it. So now we have to go to the elements. Okay, let's go to the elements parts. Okay, the elements so we go to elements here, right? Let's just click on elements here. Now, the first thing we have to do is, okay, this is the name, okay, this is the address, all right, and this is the state of origin, okay. Now, the first thing we have to do, let's start from the personal information, okay. Now, to do that, let's pick our test tool. Okay, so this is your test tool here. So you just pick your test tool, okay. So let's go ahead and enlarge this, and let's decide the font we are going to be using. So Canva has a lot of free fonts and premium fonts, okay. As you can see, this is a premium font, so it has a lot of free fonts and a lot of premium fonts. Okay, but I would like us to use this Posima Nova. Okay, for some reasons I actually like this font for resume building. Now let's start with the name. So let's call this person. So we just use a fictional name. So let's call this person Johnson Anthony. Johnson Anthony. Okay, now we go ahead and let's bold this a bit. Okay, so this is where you navigate your font. Maybe you want to reduce your font, you want to increase your font. This is where you change your font color. Maybe you want to change your font color to red. Okay, this is where you bold whatever you are writing, and this is where your italics. Okay, so this is also your underline, where you create your underline. So this is where you make all your text or capital letter or depending on what you want. Okay, so this is your alignment, where you align to the middle, to the right, to the left. Okay, now this is where you get your bullet points. All right, now this is where you handle your spacing, the spacing between your text and all. This is where you create effects for your text. Okay, so you can decide to create effects for your text. So this is actually where you do that. Okay, you create several effects for your text. Okay, so this is where you do it. So so let's take that back. So this is also where you reduce the transparency. When we talk about transparency, we are talking about visibility. So this is where you reduce it or increase it. So as you can see, the more I take this down, the more the text disappears and the more it actually becomes more visible or less visible. Okay. Now this is where you animate. Let's say you want to animate your text. So you just come here. We have several animation. Okay, so this is where you animate it. Okay, so I'm just showing you the functionality of Canva, but this is not actually, we are not actually looking at all this right now. But this is also where you position your text. Maybe you want to take your text to the middle, you want to take it to the right, to the top, to the left, to the center. So this is where you do all that. Okay. So basically, Canva is actually an online designing software. Okay, now let's take this off. So you can just delete from here. So let's pick our text again and let's make use of, should we try this? Let's see how that looks. Commorate Garamon. Okay. Is it taking time to, okay, now let's make this, let's just make it up for our Proxima Nova. So let's say we are going to call this Johnson Anthony, right? Johnson Anthony. Johnson Anthony. Okay. Now let's increase the size. So you can actually increase the size from here or you can actually go through here. So whichever. So let's increase the size. Okay. Johnson Anthony is looking cool. So let's increase the size. Yep. So let's take it here. Okay. Now we have successfully handled the name part, right? Now, the next thing I want us to handle is there are some things that are not necessary in your resume. Like when I saw this resume, I was like, okay, what's happening? Like there are some things that are not really necessary in this resume. Like now we are having his state of origin is not necessary. His country, Nigeria, is not necessary. Date of birth is not necessary. His sex is not necessary. His marital status is not necessary. Nationality is not necessary. Religion is not necessary. Your height is not necessary. Your weight is not necessary. Hobbies, cool, but it shouldn't come here. Your LinkedIn. Now, this LinkedIn now, as when you look at this LinkedIn, there's one thing I noticed about his LinkedIn. His LinkedIn is not linking directly to his LinkedIn. It's actually linking to LinkedIn. It's just like he just gave us the LinkedIn website and not his LinkedIn page. And funny enough, this is not the first time I'm seeing this mistake. I've actually seen this mistake about 4 times, okay, in different resume. What they do is they just copy the LinkedIn website and add to their resume, okay? Instead of copying their LinkedIn page website on their resume, they're copying the LinkedIn website on the resume. So it's not supposed to be that way. If you're copying if you're adding LinkedIn to your resume, it should be your LinkedIn profile and not the LinkedIn website. Okay. Now, the first thing we have to do now is okay, we have handled the name. So the next thing we have to do, let's go ahead and put some important information like his address and contacts, his contacts, okay, his email and his LinkedIn. Okay. Now to do that, we say now let's take this to stay at the middle. Okay. Now let's position this to center. Now let's take our clue again. Okay. Now let's say now let's call this his email address. Okay, that was blurred out. Okay, now let's use my personal email address. So let's say email address benkele951 at gmail.com at gmail.com, right? Okay. Now let's also copy and paste. Then let's say contact information. So let's just use any contact information. Let's say 081374098245 whatsoever. So let's just copy and also paste this. Then um let's say so let's say LinkedIn, right? So we say LinkedIn. Okay. Now we have actually successfully done this. So we just have to move this down here. So we move this down here. If you remember, there's something we are missing, and that is address. Okay. Now let's just call this address. Let's say 23 anywhere Johnson Street, anywhere Johnson Street, anywhere Johnson Street, and let's call this Georgia, USA. Okay. Now what we have to do is we have to click these together and let's make sure that both centralized. Okay, they're already centralized, so no need for that. As you can see here that are centralized. Okay. Now let's move this up a bit. Now the next thing we have to do is this is his email address. My actually, but let's say it is his. Okay, then let's move this here a bit. Okay. Um one thing I like using is I like using icons. Okay. I like using icons. So to get icons, you go to your elements and let's say email icon. Okay. And let's say CO. Make sure you use something simple. Email icon. Okay. Looking for something simple. Let's try this and see what we have. So we can go ahead and make it smaller. and go ahead and make it smaller. Why do I feel like this is too bold? So, so I want something not to. Do we use this? Okay, let's use this. Now let's reduce this a bit. Okay, it's not giving me that feel. Now let's keep searching. We'll find something definitely. Find something. Okay, we will just have to settle for this. Then I think we have. I would like us to actually change the color and let's use something like yellow, right? Now lights. No, I think let's leave it that way. Then let's make this a bit smaller, right? Then we can leave this here. Leave this here. Okay, so we can leave this here and let's leave this here. Okay, so this is the email. Let's move this a bit closer. So this is the email, right? Should we change the color to pink? No, pink is not professional. Now let's just leave it at blue and see what we have here, right? Now the next thing I would like us to look for is contact information, contacts, contact icon. Okay, my phone number icon. And I say phone icon. I think we need to go to elements. So we say phone icon. So whenever you want to get icons, you have to go to elements, not design. So we go to graphics, not photos. So because we actually use something tick here, we need to use something similar. So you cannot use a tick icon here and then use a light icon in the other one. So for the sake of uniformity, so we just have to take this to blue. Okay, then we can reduce this. Let's reduce this, right? Okay, so let's reduce this and let's move this here, right? Now, move this here. Okay, move this over here. Let's move this closer. Okay. Now, the next thing I would like us to do is let's look at LinkedIn icon. Now let's go to graphics. Okay, we're already on graphics. So the LinkedIn icon. Okay. So I don't really like the icons thing. So I wouldn't want us to exactly use a LinkedIn icon. Okay. So we are just going to leave that LinkedIn there for now. So as a professional that is a data scientist or a data analyst, okay, it is advisable that you actually have a site you are actually hosting your resume. Okay. It could be your GitHub site or your personal portfolio. It could be your GitHub site or your personal website or anywhere at all. Okay. So what you have to do is you need to add it at the top of here. So let's just use the popular sites known for developers to actually host their resume. So let's say GitHub. So we are going to leave it there. Right? Now, there's something, as you can see, this is actually looking not organized, okay? Because there's something we are actually missing out on. So what I want us to do, I want us to go here and get the text button and put this there, right? Now let's go ahead and um put this here, okay? So we can actually increase this a bit, make it a bit longer, so it will be more visible, okay? This looking too visible. So I can reduce the size from here so it will not look too bogus, right? There. Okay. This is, I think I can still increase it, right? So it's not looking so. Okay, now we just have to pick this together and we go to position and you say center, we say middle. Okay, so it is well aligned, right? Then we can actually move this here a bit. Okay, I think it's too close. Now let's take it here a bit. Then we can move this here a bit, right? We'll move this here a bit. Okay, this is looking too close to me. Then I can move it out and I can click on this tool, then also go here and say middle. Okay, so they're well aligned, right? Then I can click on, hold on shift and click on two of them and move them a bit. Okay, now the next thing I can do is also come here and copy this and move it here, right? So I can actually move this here this way. Okay, I can take it up a bit, right? Okay, now for the LinkedIn page and for the GitHub page, so we actually have to link them. Okay, we actually have to link them to our LinkedIn account. To do that, I just have to go to my LinkedIn account. Okay, now, to get your LinkedIn account, so actually get your LinkedIn account URL, what you have to do is once you land on your LinkedIn page, okay, you just have to go here and click on your LinkedIn profile, okay. So once you click on your LinkedIn profile, as you can see, it takes you to your LinkedIn page, okay. So this is your LinkedIn URL. So you can simply copy it, okay. Now you see, if I copy this and paste it here, it takes me to my LinkedIn. Okay, it takes me to my LinkedIn. So this is what you have to use when building your resume. Okay, now let's go back to our resume. So over here we are back to our resume, right? Now when you click on this text here, you have to just click here, right? Then when you look down, you will see link. Okay, when you look down, you see link. Okay, so once you click on link, so all you have to do is paste the link you copied from LinkedIn over here, okay? And you say done, right? Now, as you can see, this has successfully linked your LinkedIn, okay, to this text, okay? Now, we can simply say, so this will be visible that it is a text, okay? We can simply go ahead and change the color to be blue, right? Now, we have successfully handled that. So let's push this a bit further. In a bit further, bit further. Okay. Now let's copy and paste this. Okay. Let's take it further. And now we have to do the same for our GitHub. Okay. We have to do the same for GitHub. Now to do the same for GitHub, the same thing, we have to go to our GitHub account. Okay. Now let me just say Git. Now this takes me to, I think this should take me, let me say Precious Decoder. Okay. So, uh, okay. So this takes us to GitHub. Okay. So I will just have to sign up or sign into my GitHub account. Oh no, I don't have to sign in. I have to sign up. So I have to sign in. So to sign into my GitHub account, so I just sign in here and okay. So this is my GitHub account. Okay. So this is my GitHub account. Okay. So let me just go to my profile, right? So now this is my GitHub account. So what I just have to do is I go ahead and copy this link. Okay. I copy the link to my GitHub, right? Then I can go ahead and go back to Canva. Then I go back to link. Then I paste this here and I say done, right? Now I can simply also change the color to blue so everyone knows it is a link. Now this is actually looking better than this. Don't you think so? Let's go ahead. I love how this is coming around. Okay, now let's just go ahead and join all this together, and let's go ahead and take them to middle. Then we can go ahead and move it up a bit. So we can decide to group this, okay? Or firstly, I want us to align now. Yeah, let's align horizontally. Then okay, this is looking more better, right? Now we can actually move the address a bit up, right? Now let's do this. So it's already centralized. So we can just click all this together and take them up a bit. Then we can click these two together and make sure. So yep, this is actually looking better. Don't you think so? It's looking better. Now, as you can see, we have actually handled the personal information. Okay, so for your personal information, this is just all you need: your name, your address. Your name should be in, let's make this bold. Okay, so it should be bold. We can also make this bold a bit, and we can also, okay, it's decentralized. So actually showing that your name is bold. Then we can also take this up a bit, right? Can take this up a bit. Okay. Now this is looking better, don't you think so? So we have successfully handled the personal information part. Okay, so when you see all this personal information, all these things is added here, like religion, sex, marital status, height, weight. All these things are really not necessary. Like we can make use of the hobbies, okay, but not actually here. All right. Now let's go down. Now let's talk about the career objective. Okay. So career objective, he said to get a good job that will help me to grow, where I can showcase my talents toward and become this. Now, when we are talking about your career objective, that is not actually what the recruiter wants to see. Your career objective should actually tell the recruiter what you are, what skills you have, and also what you are looking at achieving in your professional career. Okay, or what you're looking at getting or achieving in an organization. Okay. And oftentimes I don't even use in my own personal resume, I don't actually use professional in my own personal resume, I don't actually make use of career objective. No, I don't make use of career objective. Okay. But before we go to the career objective, let's just move ahead. Okay. So now let's go to the career objective. Okay. So we take our two balls again, then let's go here and say career objectives. Career objective. Okay. So let's go to career objective. So career objective. So we can simply go ahead and bold this, right? We can simply go ahead and bold this. Okay. Or we can make this all capital. So let's just go ahead and say, let's make this all capital. Okay. Now let's just go here and click make this all capital. Okay, now this works, right? Now we can to make this small, we can go ahead and unbold this, right? Then we can come here and actually change the color to something a bit light. Okay, no, this is looking too bright, so we can use something like this or something like this, violent. No, this is looking too bright. Can we use something like this? No, it's looking too dark. Something like this, too dark. Something like this. I think this is, let's just leave it this way, right? I don't really like this. So what can we use? What can we use? What can we use? Can we use a band color? So we use this, okay? Let's make use of this. I think this is looking better to me, right? So career objective, you can simply copy the text and put it here, right? Now let's say career objective. Let's just get a catchy and professional career objective, okay, other than what he has there. So we can you can just say experienced data scientist slash analysts, all right, passionate passionate working with data, about working with data, passionate about let's just say transforming data, transforming raw data into actionable insights, proficient proficient in working with Python, SQL, Excel, and Power BI, and actively looking for an organization where my skills and experiences would be valuable, would be invaluable and appreciated appreciated. Okay, so this is a very perfect, a very perfect career objective. Okay, so let's just left. Okay, so this is a perfect career objective. Okay, so what we can do is simply go ahead and make this, and we can take this here, right? Okay, so let's make this 11. We can make it 11, we can make this 10 ever. So I think this is looking better. Okay, don't you think so? It's looking better. I think this is coming along bit by bit, right? Now, the next thing I like doing after my career objective is to put my educational qualifications. Yes, because this is actually what the interviewers want to see. My resume that has actually gotten me a lot of interviews and also got me my recent job is the resume I actually added my educational background first. Okay, so I think we should do that here. But before that, I want us to use a line to actually duly demarcate what we are working on. All right. So let's go here and look for line. So okay. So this is it. So we can actually hold the shift key and draw this. Okay. So we can use this to demarcate. Now we can go ahead and resize it. So we can make it one. Okay. So we can make it one. So we can push this up here. So it's can just make this longer, right? We make this longer. Okay. So this is demarcating every step, right? Now the next thing I want us to do, I want us to work on, let's say, educational background, right? So let's educational background. Okay, so here we can call this post-secondary school education, post-secondary education, post-secondary education. Okay. Now then we can move this here, right? Secondary education. Okay. So, so this we call this post-secondary school education. So I want us to reduce this to 14 instead of 15, right? So we can just take this up a bit and just take this up a bit, right? Then we can also take this up a bit, okay? And now there's something I want us to use to actually make our design seamless, and that is called the ruler. Okay. Now to get the ruler, we can just say control arrow. Sorry, not control arrow, shift arrow. So as you can see, this ruler comes up. So it helps us to actually maintain the spaces we are actually working with and all. Okay. So this okay. And I want us to take another one down here. Okay, so this says this is the last we can go. Okay, and this is the we can go. So we can just move all this up. Okay, then this can also go up too, right? Then move it a bit forward. Okay, then this can also be made smaller. Okay, then we can take this up a bit, then take this up, take this up, take this up. Okay, now this is looking better. This is looking better. So the next thing we have to do is we have to get our educational background. So our educational background. So we can just say we just copy this, then we can just paste it. Okay. So we can just paste it. So here we can just call this we can just use any university. Let's just say University of Nigeria. Okay. Then we can say from April 2020, 2020 to November 2024, which is a 4 years degree, right? Then this we can say bachelor's of science in bachelor's of science, let's say in computer science, computer science, right? Now let's say total CGP was 4.0 slash 5.0, and we say this is a second class upper, right? Then we can close this. Okay. Okay, so this is what this does. Can close this. Then the next one we can, let's say the person has a master's degree, so we can also come here and leave this here. Okay, can also come here and leave this here. And we can also say the person has a master's degree in University of Texas. So we can say University of Texas. And um let's say May. So let's call this May 2024 to May to June, let's say June 2025. Okay, so let's call this Masters of Science in Computer Science, and let's just leave the CGP and everything together as the same. Okay, so Master of Science in Computer Science. Okay, so this is looking better. Just make this. Okay, so they align. So the next thing we have to do is next thing we have to do is so the next thing we have to do is, of course, we go ahead and copy this and let's take it down, right? Copy this and we take it down. Okay. Now, the next thing we have to do is let's work on our key competence. Okay. So, the key competence is actually very important. Okay. Because this is actually where you actually tell the recruiter what you are actually competent at, like what you can do, your competences, what are you actually good at. So, this is actually where this comes in. Okay. So, we can move this up a bit and we can just copy this and paste, then say key competence. So as a data analyst or a data scientist, of course you will be competent at data analysis and visualization. Okay, data analysis and visualization. Then you should be also be competent at machine learning for data science, machine learning. Okay, machine learning. So you should also be competent in Power BI, okay, or whichever tool you make it of. It can be Power BI or it can be Tableau, whichever, it can be Excel. So whichever you make it of. So it can be Power BI for data analysis. Okay. So another thing you should be competent at is statistical modeling. Statistical modeling. Okay. So you can also go ahead and just copy this and paste this, right? Copy this and paste this. Okay, paste this and move this a bit forward. Now the next thing we can also put here is we can say predictive analysis, okay, which is predictive analysis, which is actually one of the competencies a data analyst or a data scientist should have. So here we can say database management, database management, where we have, let's say, depending on the one you're good at, so we can simply say my SQL, right? Okay. So another thing is, of course, you should be able to communicate. So here you can simply add excellent communication. Okay, excellent communication. Okay, excellent communication. And here you can simply add, so here we can simply add attention to details, attention to details, attention to details. Okay. Then here we can simply copy and paste. All right. Then you can simply copy and paste. Okay. You can simply copy and paste. Then here we can simply say programming. Of course, programming languages. Okay, so you can say Python. All right. Then can say Python. Then here you can say proactive and self-motivated. Okay, proactive and self-motivated. Okay. Then here we can also say another skill. Okay, great storytelling. So data analyst should have a great storytelling skill. So great storytelling skills. Okay, great storytelling skills, right? Which is an important skills for a data analyst. And another one is organization skills. So exceptional organization skills. Okay, exceptional organization skills. Okay, so this is coming up a little. So somehow I feel like this is still too big. So can we just make this 12 or 13? No, let's make this 13. It's looking too big to me. So it shouldn't be too old, right? So we can just take this up a bit, take this up a bit. We're spacing between them all. Then that should be okay. Then it should be taken up a bit, taken up a bit, taken a bit. Make sure both of them looking off. I just want to make sure. Let me just click on three of them and go to position and let's see middle. Okay, now we are getting there slowly. As you can see, this is actually looking better. Now we have worked on the personal information, we have worked on the education, we have worked on the career objective. Okay, so as you can see, personal information, career objective, education, right? And okay, so this we forgot to rename this to key competencies. Key competence, key competency, right? Okay, so remove this here. Hey, and move this down, 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 up, up. Right. Now, the next thing we have to do is we can go ahead and take this and push it down, right? Take this and push it down, definitely. Then we move it up a bit, a bit, a bit, a bit, a bit. Okay. Now, the next thing we have to handle is we have to handle work experiences. Okay, we have to handle work experiences. We have to handle work experiences. So as you can see, his work experiences is not looking professional. Okay, is not looking professional. So we have to actually handle that. Okay. Now to work on that, we go ahead and copy this and paste it, and okay, let's call this work experience. Work experience. Okay. Now let's make sure it is okay. It is right. Now let's go ahead and copy this and paste this. Right. So let's make this as long as it can be. Okay. So let's say, for example, presently the person is working as a data analyst. Okay. Let's say the person is working as a data analyst, and let's say the name of the company is Amazon. Is Amazon. Okay. And the next thing I want us to put here is the tools used. And let's say the person currently works with Excel, Power BI, and Python, right? As a data analyst. Okay. Now, this is what we are going to have here. Okay. So before we go ahead, there is something I always notice about resume. Everybody wants to make use of a tag. Like what do I mean like a tag? Maybe 10% increase sales by 10%, increase marketing efficiency by 10%, increase dashboard preparation or manage time and reduce dashboard preparation time, whatever by 10%. Now I'm not saying that that is not good, okay? It doesn't just make sense when all the key points of your job description has percentages attached to them. It is totally okay if all the key points in your job description, okay, doesn't have percentages attached to them. Okay, so you must not always attach percentages to your job description. Okay, so you can just leave it simple, neat, and straight to the point. Now, this is where making use of ChatGPT comes in. Yup. Now, we are going to be giving a ChatGPT a prompt to actually develop a job description, okay, for a data analyst, okay, working with Amazon products. Now, to do that, we say, I am currently working, oh no, I'm currently working with Amazon as a data analyst. I work with Excel, Power BI, and Python. I am building my resume, and I want you to give me five powerful job descriptions I can add to my resume as a data analyst working for Amazon. Okay, now let's send this to ChatGPT. Okay, now this is what ChatGPT has given to us. Okay, this is what ChatGPT has given to us. Now, as you can see, when you look at this, you see that most, not all of the job descriptions has percentages attached to it. Okay, so that is what I'm trying to say, that it is not a mandatory that all your job descriptions must have percentages attached to them. Okay, now what we have to do is we simply have to simply copy this, okay, and paste it to our resume. So we don't have to do much. So we just have to do this and copy and paste to our resume. Then we go to tool, then we come back to ChatGPT, then we copy and paste, right? Then we go to trade, come back to ChatGPT, we copy and paste. Then we go back to ChatGPT, then we copy, um, okay, let's say forecasting model. So let's copy and paste this. Okay. So I think this is very, very sufficient. All right. So for this, we can simply decide to bold this, right? Can simply decide to bold job description. Okay. So it reads boldly job description, sorry, job title. So it reads boldly data analyst Amazon, right? Okay, so the next thing we can do is Control C and Control V. No, I think Control C V, right? So we can actually push this down. Okay, we can push this down a bit. We can push this down, push this down. Okay, so this is it. Okay, so this is looking so, so we can simply just take it down from here. Okay, we can simply take it down from here. So it doesn't encroach with our, since 11 already. Should we make it 10? I think 11 is okay. Okay, so it doesn't encroach with what we are working on. So this is also passing our distance. So we can simply limit this here. Okay, let's leave it at that. Okay. So we can simply leave this at gray. So I'm trying to achieve something in uniformity here. Okay, so what we have to do is we can simply go here and bring down this. All right, then we can simply paste it and let's move it down. Let's move this down. Okay, so we can simply move this down too. So let's take this up. So let's move this here. Right, let's move this here. Okay, so this is it. Right, we can simply try to move this up a bit. Then we can move this up a bit. So we can also move this up a bit. Right, then we can simply take this up. So, okay. So for this, instead of data analyst at Amazon, so we can simply say, okay, this person worked as a let's say this person worked as a data, let's say this person worked as a Power BI developer, right? And let's say this person worked with JP Morgan, JP Morgan. Okay. Now, using the same prompts, we can simply say, okay, right here, let's say the person for JP Morgan, the person works with SQL. Okay, my SQL. Person works with SQL, and the person also works with Power BI, definitely. So let's say these are the two tools the person worked with at JP Morgan. Okay. Now we can simply come here and copy our prompt. Okay. And we paste it here, and let's just say with JP Morgan. JP Morgan. Okay. And this has a data analyst I work with. Okay, as a BI power as a BI developer. BI developer. Okay. I work with Power BI and my SQL. Okay, let's say give us 4 instead of 5 this time. Working for JP Morgan, JP Morgan, and let's run this. Okay, so over here we can just say BI developer, right? JP Morgan. Then we can simply come here and copy. Then we can simply paste, right? Then we can also come here and copy and paste. Okay. Now to avoid going down to our above our margin, okay, above our margin, okay, we can simply go ahead and add a new page. Okay. Then once we add a new page, you can simply copy this and paste it and bring it down to here. So let's see, we still have our listing there, so we can bring it down to here, right? So we have to bring it down to make sure it's below our ruler. Okay, then we can then go ahead and copy the other job descriptions. All right, so we say this, right? Then we'll say implemented. Okay, so this is this, right? Now let's say let's copy this and paste it here, right? Let's copy this and paste it here. And for this, we actually have to move this out. Okay, this has to be moved out. Okay, no, I think from here should be moved out. Okay, so yep, so this is what we should have left. Okay, so we have to move this up a bit. Now, of course, we have to get our line from here, and let's take it down here. Let's paste it here, right? Now we have to take it up, and we have to move it up. Let's move it up, 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 move it up. Okay, so we have actually moved that up a bit. So we can take it up a bit, so and let's move it up. I wouldn't want it to be too tight. We can move it down. Okay, then we can move it down. Okay, so now let's say the next job is data scientist, right? Let's say data scientist. Okay. Now, it is actually advisable not to have the same resume for if you're a data scientist and also a data analyst. Okay, it's actually very advisable not to have the same resume for both your data for jobs when you're applying for data scientists and for jobs when you're applying for data analysts. Okay, so it is actually advisable to make use of two different resumes. So this is actually just for the purpose of revamping a resume. So it's actually advisable if you're a data scientist and as well a data analyst. So it's actually advisable to have a resume for data analyst and a resume for data scientist. Okay. Now let's say this person works as a data scientist for, let's say, for Bank of America. Okay. And let's say tool used is my SQL, Python, and Looker Studio. Let's say Looker Studio. Let's say Looker Studio. Yeah, Looker Studio. Okay. I feel like it's so true. Okay. Should come down. Mm, or play with it. Play with Maria. So I can move this down a bit here. This can really come down. Okay. So this can also come down. So it's looking better. So we can simply give ChatGPT a prompt. Say, I work as a data scientist. I work as a data scientist at Bank of America. I use Power BI, Python, my SQL, and Looker Studio. Currently building my resume. Currently building my resume. Give me four powerful job descriptions to add that will wow recruiters. That will wow recruiters. Okay, will wow recruiters. Now, as you can see, ChatGPT has given us the prompt. So what we have to do is go over here and copy. Then we paste it here, right? Then we also copy the next one and paste it here. Okay. Then we'll copy the next one. Sorry. And paste it here. Then we can paste this here. See, I'm not dealing with anything. What are you talking about? I'm creating a video for my YouTube channel. I'm sorry about that, guys. Okay, so we have successfully done this, right? Okay, so we have successfully done this. Okay. Now, we can go ahead to add, depending on how many experiences you have or how many companies you've worked with that is relevant to the job you're applying for. So you can go ahead and add as many as work experiences as you have, okay? But mostly I recommend leaving it at 3 to 4, okay? 3 to 4, highest 5 different work experiences, okay? Because it is not advisable for your resume to be too bulky, right? So we'll just go ahead and leave this at this for now. Okay. Okay, so we are actually done with work experiences. Alright. So the next thing I would want us to add is, now let's go back to his resume and say, okay, we are done with work experiences. Now, certifications obtained. Okay. Now, when we are talking about certifications obtained for a data analyst, this is actually not necessary. Okay. NYSC, this is not necessary. Certificate in computer training, I don't see how this is actually related. Your WIEC, I don't see how it is actually necessary. So all these three things he added as certificates obtained are not necessary. Okay. So for here, if you're looking at certificates obtained, maybe we are looking at certifications obtained, maybe BI associate, data analyst associate, or certified by all those kind of certifications. That's what you should have here. Okay. But if you do not have any certifications yet, they are not necessary. Okay, you can just leave it out. Okay. So for here, let's just say we want to add that, and we can go here and paste this. Okay, yeah, paste this, and come here and paste this and move it here, right? Then we can simply this and we can simply make this. Okay. Now let's say so over here we can simply say certifications, right? Certifications. Okay. So we can simply say certifications, right? Then here we can say so we can say Google Analytics, Analytics Professional Certificates, certificates. Then here you can also say Microsoft, Microsoft Certified Power BI Data Analyst, Data Analyst Associates, right? Then here we can also say IBM Data Science Professional Certificate. Then here we can also say Certified Analytics Professional, Certified Analytics, Analytics, sorry, Analytics Professional. So we call that CAP, so in brackets CAP, CAP, I brackets CAP, CAP, it should be professional. Okay, so this is that. So this is that. Now, another thing you can do is instead of just listing the certifications, so you can decide to link them. Okay. So, for example, you can just upload them to your GitHub. All right. You can just create a repository for them in your GitHub account and get the repository link in your GitHub account and actually link them. Okay. Just the same way we actually linked this text. Okay. So you can actually do that. So once the recruiter just clicks on it, it takes them to your GitHub repository and they see the certification there. All right. Now, the next thing I want us to do is keep projects. Okay. You have to put your key project so recruiters can easily see your key project at a glance. All right. So key project at a glance. But just copy and paste. Right. Key project. Okay. Then this upgrade. This upgrade. Key projects. Okay. Mm, Kayak. So let's say for key projects here, let's say you built a project and let's say we call it chats. So we call it chats bots development. Okay. Let's just say let's call it healthcare chatbots development. All right. Then then we can simply say GitHub link here. GitHub link. Okay. right? So here, let's say we have another project. I will say financial data analysis. Okay. So you can simply say GitHub link also. GitHub link, right? Then let's say we have another project. I will say credit score. Let's say um credit score prediction. Credit score prediction. Okay. So you can simply say GitHub link here. GitHub link here, right? No, so now that is it for this. Okay, so as just like we did, we linked this text, right, to GitHub and to LinkedIn. So what you have to do is you just have to also link this. So over here we have the GitHub link. So what you just have to do for all this is, of course, link them. Okay, you link them. Okay, once you link them, as you can see, this is not a URL, so it won't work. So once you link them, you go ahead and say done. Then of course you change the color so the recruiter can know that it is a link. Okay, now there's something I want us to do. Let's bring this down, please. Okay, so let's bring this down here. So I don't want it to be joined together. Jump out. Okay, now we can actually do this, cover this up. Then we can also cover this up, right? Okay, I think this is looking better. That's looking better to me. Okay, so you see how far we have gone. Now, the next thing I always want us to add, I would love us to add, is our key strengths and our technical skills. So even though we actually mentioned it here, okay, most of them we are mentioned here, I will also want us to, mention it here, okay. So over here, what we can simply do is we just have to bring this down, okay, and let's take it here, right? So let's create another line, right? Yes, I don't know why this. So let's get another line. So let's just turn it this way to 90%, right? Then we can move it down. Okay. So we have to position it to the middle, of course. Then we technical skills and key strengths. Okay. Now, in this key strengths, this is where you have your stuffs like. So in this key strengths, this is where you have things like technical proficiency, collaborative team player. Maybe you have your problem solving skill, machine learning expertise, and communication skills, data visualization skills, and the rest of them. Now let's just go ahead and copy this and let's paste this here, and then we can just make this way, then push it a little. Okay, so here we can just say programming languages. All right, so here we can just say Python, right? Python CSS. Okay, then we can simply also, okay, let's just say Python arrow, right? Then we can simply say database. Okay, then you can simply say my SQL. Then we can also say deployments, right? Here we can say Flux as well. template. Okay, and just trim it. Then visualization, visualization. Here we can say Power BI, Python, of course. Here we have your C1. Then you can see Looker Studio and any other visualization software you can use, right? Okay. So for this we can simply for proper understanding we can just bold this, right? And bold this. Okay. Also bold this. We can also bold this, and we can also bold visualization. Okay. Now we can simply copy this and we can paste it here. Then we can move it. Okay. We can move it here. So this key strength, we have to just take it here a bit. Okay, we can move it a bit to the side. Right. Then we can move it here to a bit. Okay. So for key strengths, we can actually have let's say technical um proficiency. Let's say technical proficiency. Then we can say collaboration, collabor collaborative team player. Okay. And you can say problem solving skills. And we can also say machine learning expertise, machine learning expertise. Then we can also say let's add data visualization skills, data visualization skills. Okay. Then here we can simply onboard this, simply onboard it. Okay. Now, as you can see, we have, let's take this down a little. So I can see we have a full functional modern ATS optimized resume, right? ATS optimized resume. Now, as you can see, it's actually far preferable. It's actually it can't even be compared. It's actually better than this, all right? Better than what we have here. Okay, better than what we have here. Now let's go ahead and download this, okay, and see how the links, okay, actually works, right? Now for okay, so let's go ahead and just name this updated resume, updated resume, right? And let's just go ahead and download this. So that's 2 pages. So PDF standard. So let's download this, right? So let's wait for it to download. So let's go to our downloads. Okay, so we have it here. Then we can simply open it here, right? So as you can see, so once we click on LinkedIn, all right, for here I need to sign up to be able to actually see people's LinkedIn because I'm not making use of my main browser. But let's go to GitHub. So as you can see, it takes us here. You see? So that's actually how the links works, right? So that's actually how the link. So that's actually how the link works. All right. So this is a view. Okay, let's just go back to see a view of our resume. So this is what a professional resume should look like. Okay. This is what a professional resume should look like. So this is it. So this is it. So there's something I'm noticing here. This is a bit too long. So we are supposed to make it fit. So you can just hold it and just drag it up a bit, right? So it fits. Okay. So we can also go ahead and download this again. So we can go ahead and download this again. So okay, it just downloaded now. So go ahead and run this. So as you can see, this is what a professional resume should look like, right? This is what a professional resume should look like. This is what a professional resume should look like. So don't so feel free to actually leave your questions in the comment section. Thank you so much for watching.